if it's true that we go live. You're live. So hello everybody. There's nobody looking yet.
Well, it's early.
First time. No, but this is the first time we do a YouTube live, right? So we are very excited because we don't know if it's going to work, and maybe it says that we are recording, but who knows, because it should. So I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Monica Stocker. Oh, there's, I bet it's Gemma. Let me see. Comments. I don't know who is there, but my name is Monica Stocker. I was saying I'm the author of blog, but yes, Gemma, you're the most loyal fan we have. Okay. So my name is Monica Stocker again, and I have a blog that's called El Blog para Aprender Inglés, and the new version is Blog del Inglés. And we also do Skype lessons on EPI and Apprentice for companies. And here with me is Craig Whelan.
Hello.
And he can introduce himself. How are you doing?
Yes, my name's Craig, if you don't know me. And I write material for mansioningles.com, which is a website for Spanish speakers to improve their English. And we also create a podcast, which is weekly, and that can be found at inglespodcast.com.
So Gemma says, good vibes. Yes, there's only 3 of us. So later, maybe you're watching the replay and you can benefit from this video too. So today, what's the topic for today? It's a topic that I think I like a lot.
Yes, it's going to be fun. It's 15 English proverbs that will be useful if you don't know them. And if you maybe have heard of them, this will hopefully remind you to use them when you're speaking English. So 15 fairly common proverbs that English speakers use on a fairly regular basis. So we hope you'll enjoy looking at these proverbs with us. And if you have any questions or comments, please, as usual, write them in the chat box and we'll get to them as soon as we can.
Okay, so this is also very, very good, I would say, for increasing your vocabulary, because sometimes you hear these expressions and you don't know what they mean. It's like in Spanish, these expressions, you learn them at home. Most of these expressions, you have to hear your grandmother saying these things, you know. And if you never heard your grandmother saying these things in English, well, here, now we're going to be the grandmother and the grandfather saying all these expressions. They usually come from the countrysides. Mariela, okay, we have also Mariela, just join in, good vibes. Okay, let me see. The first one, I'm going to do the first one because I like this one. It's a bird in hand is worth 2 in the bush. And this is very, 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 very true. Okay, and it's exactly the same as in Spanish. What is good about this proverb is that it is exactly the same in Spanish. Un pájaro, más vale pájaro en mano que 100 volando. It's not the same exactly, but you can see in this case is a bird in hand, un pájaro en la mano, is worth, vale, 2 in the bush. And the bush is el arbusto. So meaning whatever you already have is better than something that they offer you for the future. So you, for example, you have a good job and then somebody says, oh, I have a better job for you. You have to do some research because maybe it's better the job that you currently have than the future.
That's what I was thinking with today with the problems with unemployment, and it's not easy to get another job. If you have a job, maybe you're not 100% happy with your job, but keep it, because at the moment things are very uncertain. So it's better to have that job or have that bird in your hand than try to get something better when maybe you'll lose what you have. So I think that's very appropriate for the situation at the moment.
Okay, so Gemma and Mariela, I think they just click on one emoji and they got just a message and not the emoji. And they said that it's better not to touch them. The
emoticons, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to number 2. Number 2, actions speak louder than words. And I like this very much because if you think about it, words are very cheap. You can say, I'm going to be the best employee you've ever had. You can say, I will love you forever. You can promise things and you can say things, but what's really important is not what you say, it's what you do. So your actions speak a lot louder than your words. And if you show by your actions that you're a good person, then that means a lot more than if you just say you're a good person. So words can be a bit cheap sometimes. And I do believe that what people do and the way they act has a lot more weight than what they actually say. So watch what people do and not what they say. That's my advice.
Exactly.
Actions speak louder than words.
And Gemma, maybe Gemma knows the translation, because I was looking for this translation and I didn't find one that was very good.
So you wouldn't say lo que haces vale más que lo que dices? That's too easy.
Well, you could say that, but it's not that I know that it's a proverb in Spanish. I mean, it's like, no, I don't think, it would be las acciones son más fuertes o hablan más fuerte que las palabras, pero there must, perhaps somebody knows this, there must be a similar proverb in Spanish, but I don't really know. So we can just go to the next one. And this is for me, and I love this one. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. And that means, and this is very graphic, because I can even imagine the dog lying around, an old dog, and you tell him, Fido, let's go out. And the dog, me going out? No. So it means that when you're old, you're usually not willing to learn new things.
Yeah.
And that's fairly common, I would say. Not everybody's like that. Because, for example, I'm old and I'm willing to learn new things. But many people have this attitude. So,
and you see this a lot with technology, don't you?
Yeah.
Especially with your parents or people who are in their 70s or 80s, that it's really difficult for them to use a smartphone. It's really difficult for them to use email because they're older and their brains can't learn new things as easily. So that's very common with technology. So
you have an example? I think I had this problem with everybody that was older than 70. I have had this problem. Like anything that is new, besides they don't want to. There's another thing that you get like blocked, and you say, no, this is not for me. That's why you cannot teach an old dog new tricks.
And there's an expression in English that's to be set in your ways. Set in your ways. If you're set in your ways, you don't like change when you get older. You don't like new things. If something new comes at you, you need to change for some reason. You don't like it because you're set in your ways. You're set in your habits. You don't change habits easily. So that's also kind of connected
that's very much related. So you have another one, and this is for Craig. That's very nice.
Great minds think alike. I was thinking for a long time, maybe it would be a good idea to try this on YouTube and see what happens. And when Monica suggested it to me, I thought, yes, great minds think alike. We both thought of the same idea, but you suggested it first. It was your idea to do it first. So that's another idea.
I was thinking, I want to try one time YouTube, see if it works. Because there's a new platform and with this system. So
another example would be, for example, you're working in an office and one of you suggests that you have a break for lunch or you have a break for coffee, and you can say, coffee, that's a wonderful idea. Great minds think alike. I was thinking the same thing. So when someone says something and you think the same, you can use this proverb. Great minds think alike.
It's a kind of funny proverb because it's just you're looking up to the person. They're saying you have a great mind. If somebody says to you that, it's very flattering, no? Like you say, "Oh, you have a great mind." But
it's also very egocentric because it means that you have a great mind also.
Just like me, it's like not very humble, no?
Not very humble,
a little bit arrogant.
A little bit.
Okay, the next one. I say this very, very often to my students. When you learn English, there's no pain, no gain. There cannot be more true than this. No pain, no gain. We don't have the same in Spanish, sin dolor no hay ganancia. But we don't say that, but it's so true for many things in life. At least I believe that. I mean, for me, everything that has been like a reward or has been before, I have been making an effort, and then I get the result, which is can be money, can be a prize, can be anything, but no pain, no gain. Very
And
simple.
there's no similar expression in
No, not
Spanish.
that I
You wouldn't
know. If anybody that is watching knows the expression in Spanish that is similar, not the translation because it's very easy to translate it, but I cannot think of any proverb with the same idea, no?
Yeah.
But it's very, very easy to remember because of the sound, the rhyme. So no pain, no gain. It's very, and very short also. Okay.
Also, it reminds me of being in the gym when you go to the gym and you want to lose weight or you want to
also it's the
grow
same
your
thing.
muscles
Yeah,
and
it's the same
get
thing.
fit. If you don't sweat and if you don't work hard, then you're not going to see any results. So you have to go through the pain to get the gain. And you notice those two words rhyme. Pain and
Yeah, that's
gain
what
have
I'm saying. The sound, no pain, no gain.
the
They
same
rhyme.
vowel sound. Mm-hmm.
Number 6 for Craig.
Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Now, hatch, did we find a Spanish word for hatch when the egg comes out of the chicken?
Yes, it was romper el cascarón.
Okay.
They hatch. Cuando rompes, so no cuentes tus polluelos antes de que rompan el cascarón. But in Spanish,
Polluelos. How do you say it?
yeah,
Polluelos?
polluelos is the small one.
Polluelos.
No?
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know.
But I was thinking, in this case, in Spanish, we say something, vender la piel del oso antes de cazarla, de cazar al oso, the meaning that you're thinking that you're going to have some kind of result before you really get to the end, before you really do what you have to do. So you shouldn't be too optimistic, no?
Imagine you go for a job interview and it goes really, really well and you think you've got the job. Don't have the party until you sign the contract in case maybe you don't get the job.
Yes, it's very common. As you get older, I think you get wiser too with this. I usually until I don't see the result or then see that it's a yes, or I try not to say anything, because then there's a problem, because then you feel worse than at the beginning when you didn't expect anything. The feeling you get if you start celebrating something before you have it, and then it's not really true, the result, you feel awful. And so it's better not to do that. That's the origin of this kind of this kind of proverbs. They mainly come from farming and from the Middle Ages. So many times there are things related to farming. So
and I can think of another one as well that's very similar. Gemma says she totally agrees. Yeah. Another one, Gemma, is don't sell the milk before you buy the cow.
Yeah.
You don't sell the milk before you buy the cow. You have to have the cow first to have milk to sell.
Yeah.
So don't get too ahead of yourself. Yeah,
don't vender. And there's a famous story I remember of the milk. How do you say it? The milk lady or milk woman?
Milkmaid.
That was a milkmaid. Yeah. This milkmaid was thinking, she was carrying this jar with milk, and she was walking, imagining all kinds of things she would do once she sold the milk. But do you know that story?
No, it's news that I haven't heard that.
It's a fable. No. It's one of these fables where she was walking and then suddenly she drops the milk, and then she cannot buy anything. This is exactly the same idea.
Yeah.
Number 7. If you snooze, you lose.
This is yours.
Yes, snooze means echarse una cabezadita, ¿no? And it rhymes also because snooze, lose. If you snooze, si te echas una cabezadita, pierdes. And in Spanish, we have a saying that says, el que pestañea pierde. And I think it's very similar, right? So, well, you don't know, but can you give me an example? Has it ever happened to you that
that I've been too slow to do something? Miss an opportunity. I'm trying to think.
Miss an opportunity, right?
Yes, a couple of times there has been some jobs or work available, and I wasn't sure whether it was a good idea to take the job. So I waited, and then the job disappeared, for example. So I missed it. So I was too late. So I hesitated. If you hesitate, sometimes you lose things. But I don't know if that's true, because sometimes it's good not to jump too quickly. Sometimes it's good to think and wait and see what happens.
Gemma is talking about Gemma is talking about the previous stories that I told in relationship with the
La lechera.
Don't count your eggs, yes. And she says el cuento de la lechera. That's a very common sentence. Esto es como el cuento de la lechera. It's like that she went to the milkmaid she wanted to buy so many things, and at the end she couldn't buy anything. No, if you snooze, you lose. I was thinking, I did miss opportunities, but it's very simple. When there are sales, this is the opposite of what you're saying. If there are sales, sometimes you just have to buy the thing, because 5 minutes later it's not going to be there.
Right.
And I think it applies to that, because it's true that you have to meditate the decisions, you have to think them over, but in some decisions, it's quite clear that either you get it now or somebody else is going to get it.
For example, imagine. Okay, I have a good example. You're sitting at the table and there's a plate of chocolates, and there's only one chocolate left, and there's like 6 people around the table, and you take it, and everybody says, "Oh, you took the last chocolate. Why did you?" So, you snooze, you lose. If you don't take it quickly, you don't get the chocolate.
That's a good example. Rafa says, cuidado, no te duermas en los laureles. Well, I don't know if it is exactly that, because no te duermas en los laureles means that you won a prize.
What are laureles? Your laurels.
Laurels. But it means that you won a prize, and because you won a prize, you think that you're better and that you don't need to make an effort. So that's the meaning of that. And in this case, it's only that you miss an opportunity because you were not watching, you were not careful. And this normally happens, for example, if you want to rent a flat, or you want to buy a house, or you want to buy a car that is a bargain, and you start doubting, hesitating, like Craig said, you start hesitating because you think, no, maybe I should look it up, maybe tomorrow. For sure, it's going to be gone. And this is, in this case, we apply this proverb. Okay?
What's interesting is with Rafa's comment is in Spanish, no te duermes en los laureles. What we would say, laureles, sorry. Yeah. What we would say in English is don't sit on your laurels. So not sleep, but sit. So it's very, very similar.
It's but it's another proverb.
Sit on your laurels is to wait. Hesitate.
Yeah, but meaning that you think that because you want something, because this comes from the Romans, the laurels is the crown that they used to put to someone who was the winner in a competition, I think. Once you want something, you think, for example, Rafa Nadal, he never sleeps or sits on his laurels. Rafa Nadal goes.
Well, he does when he plays on grass, but not when he plays. Not when he plays on hard courts. Okay.
That's true. That you cannot sit on your laurels. Okay. Now this one.
Number 8.
Is it? This is for you. This is for you, I think.
This is
Yeah.
for me. Okay.
Yes, I think so.
So a leopard can't change its spots, or a leopard doesn't change its spots. And sometimes you hear also a leopard never changes its spots. And that means that people don't change. They basically stay the same. And I don't know if you agree with this, but as we develop our habits and we get older, we have a certain way of doing things, a certain way of living, a certain way of being, and it's really, really difficult to change that way. Your personality, the way you are, and that's the idea behind the proverb, a leopard never changes its spots. I believe that people can change if they really want to change. But let's say that you're really, really lazy, for example, and you get up very late every morning, you don't work hard, you don't study hard. You can change that, but the proverb's saying that you can't because that's the way you are. You'll never change your spots if you're a leopard, and you'll never change your habits or your personality if you're a human. Do you believe that or not? Can people change?
I do. I do believe that it's quite difficult to change people. That you need a very dramatic or a very a special event in the life of people to change that person. In general, we all stick to the same. If we have our nature, I remember one story about the frog and the, how do you call this?
Scorpion.
The scorpion, the frog. You know the story.
Yes. Why don't you tell it? It's a great story.
Why don't you tell it? That there was a frog that wanted that. No, the scorpion wanted to cross the river, right?
Right.
And
Yes.
the scorpion asked the frog, "Can you take me to the other side of the river?" No?
And the frog said, "You must be joking. You're
Yeah.
going to kill me. You're going to sting me. You're a scorpion. I'm not going to put you on my back."
Yeah. And what happened?
And then the scorpion says, "Well, that's crazy. Why would I sting you? Why would I kill you? Because if you drown, I'm going to drown in the river because we both sink to the bottom of the river. We both die. That's crazy." So the frog says, "Oh, maybe. Okay, come on." So the scorpion gets on the back of the frog, and the frog starts swimming halfway across the river. The scorpion stings the frog. And as they're drowning and as they're dying, the frog says, "Why did you sting me?" He says, "I'm a scorpion. That's what I do."
No, that's my nature.
That's my nature. Sorry, that's my nature.
That's my nature.
That's who I am.
Yeah, exactly. And so what I had to do. So I love that story because it's true for people. And then Rafa has a very funny thing in Spanish. Que nace lechón, muere cochino.
I don't understand that.
What is a piglet?
Yes.
If you're born a piglet, you die as a pig.
As a pig.
This is like something like that. No? So you're not going to change. Your lechon is the lechon comes from milk.
Mm-hmm.
Is the suckling pig, the suckling the one that is still suckling.
The baby pig.
The baby. And then cochino is a pig. Is another word for pig. So that's it. That's true. So thank you, Rafa, for that suggestion, because I think some of them are quite funny. And this is they say that this people's wisdom, because it's the farmer's wisdom by observing nature. You observe nature, and then you can make up a proverb because you see that there's the same pattern all the time. No, that is what is that is what is so cool about it. So this one, the next one we have here, this is very well known, and it's also in Spanish. Is it? This is mine. All that glitters is not gold. That's very simple. Todo lo que brilla, no todo lo que brilla es oro. In Spanish, it's no todo lo que brilla es oro.
It's the same in Spanish.
All that glitters is not gold. That meaning, of course, that sometimes you see, and you can say it in a figurative way, and you can say it in like the real way, because it's true that sometimes you see things that appear to be gold, but they're not gold. In this case, this is gold. But there's similar metals that resemble gold, but they're not precious metals. digestin, no, hojalata. Okay, and in a figurative way, sometimes you think that, for example, your neighbor has such a nice house and such a nice wife or husband, and everything is okay, and the children are perfect, and then later you found out that I don't know, the
There
wife
are the dead bodies in the cellar.
they were dead, exactly. So that is what it means, that in real life many things seem to be good or better than they are, just because you imagine that they are made of gold, they are better than they are. And
Or
the
you
truth
could see
is,
a pretty girl or a handsome man, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're good people
yeah,
inside.
yes. And Rafa says, no es oro todo lo que reluce, no? No todo lo que reluce es oro. That's exactly. That is very easy. That is very easy to remember because we have exactly the same in Spanish. Okay, now for you, this one is also quite this is, I think, is very easy to understand.
An apple a day keeps your doctor away. So here's another example of two vowel sounds that rhyme, which makes the proverb easy to remember. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Da 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 da. So it means that, I suppose, apples are healthy, and if you eat an apple, you won't need to go to the doctor, which sounds a bit strange to me. But I think if you go deeper, if you eat healthy food, you will have fewer health problems, which makes a lot of sense. So vegetables and fruit are very good for you, and if you eat healthily, then you won't die. Hopefully, you won't die young.
And in Spanish,
but don't forget though that the apple was the forbidden fruit in the Bible.
Yeah, this is true. But I'm thinking in Spanish there's a proverb. I don't know about the apple. I don't know if any of the people that are watching know the one in Spanish. But in Spanish there's the opposite of this, and there's one that says something like, "De buenas cenas están llenas las sepulturas." So meaning,
Sepulturas.
yeah, sepulturas is the tomb. So it means like a lot of people that ate a lot, like the buenas cenas, ended up dying.
Yeah, well, it's true. Yeah,
And this is, it could be like the opposite of this expression, no? So because it's this, if you eat something healthy, you're not going to go to the doctor too often, because
if you overeat, it's bad for you.
Exactly. Food is very much related to health, and people don't know this. But in general, I mean, when they do research and they can find out, for example, that fasting is in some cases quite okay, because it cleans the organism. So sometimes
we should explain that fasting is when you don't eat anything.
Yeah. Fasting, breakfast.
Ayunas, fasting.
Yeah, desayunar is the same as breakfast. So to break the fast. Yeah. So in a way, this is the idea, that you shouldn't eat too much to keep the doctor away. And in the same way, the Spanish saying of "de buenas cenas están llenas las sepulturas" is the opposite. And it's quite funny.
Do you like apples? I don't like apples. My mum used to make me
Rafa
eat
has
them.
a very good advice here. And this, yes. This is a good piece of advice.
Breakfast like a king.
Have breakfast as a king, eat as a prince, and
have lunch as a prince,
have dinner as a beggar. As a beggar. This is true. Absolutely true. And it's very, all these things are very old, and we tend to forget it. I think we just forget about these things that from our grandparents or great-grandparents, we already knew these things as popular wisdom. But we don't want to, because there are so many things you can eat that are delicious.
Yeah, much more delicious than an apple, that's for sure.
For sure. I like apples, not too much, but I do like apples. You were asking me. Yes, I like apples. Yes. Okay, my mother used to say that apples clean your teeth. So it's like a toothpaste, and it's true. Okay, let's go for the next one. Is this mine? Adversity and loss make a man wise. And Craig said to me, I never heard that. But
Oh,
we both said, I think it makes a lot of sense because adversity and loss make a man wise. And it's absolutely true, at least from my point of view. It's similar to no pain, no gain. Okay. In this case, is if you have something negative in your life, some like an accident, an illness, or everything can be bad, but at the end, you are wiser because you learn more things. Probably you learn more things from bad experiences than from good experiences. And this is where the idea comes from, you know? Because if you're, for example, you know what? I think there's one saying in Spanish, something like, something of a sailor, a good sailor, something related with the sea. Now, you make a good sailor if the sea is rough or something like that. There's a proverb about that too, probably in English, that you become more. Maybe somebody has an idea here.
the only one I can think of that's similar is
Yeah.
what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
This is true. This is true, but that's more physical. And in this case, is
No,
your
it can be
yeah,
emotional. It can be
yeah,
also be emotional because you can
yeah.
have lots of emotional problems and hard. And at the time, you feel completely depressed and completely bad.
But
But you,
later,
but later, when you come out of it, when you evolve the other side, you're wiser. You're a better person. So it can be physical, and it can also be emotional.
yeah, there's both things. But it's so true. For me, at least, it's so true.
It's
I
like
don't know if
Rafa said, you have to make mistakes to learn. Of course, you can't
exactly.
learn unless you make mistakes.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So I always think about these things when I'm going through a difficult situation. I always think, okay, something good must come out of this. So don't be so worried. Don't be so sad about it because there will be something good about this. There's always some lesson that you can learn. Okay, the next one, let's see this one. This is for Craig, and this is the same in Spanish.
As you sow, you shall reap. The way it's written there is, I think, a direct quote from the Bible because it's a proverb from the Bible.
Mhm.
In modern English, I hear very often, "You reap what you sow," or
Yeah, the other
you
way
shall
around.
reap what you sow. They change the
The order, yeah.
but it's again another proverb from agriculture,
From
from
agriculture,
fields,
yeah.
and from farming. So to sow is when you put the seeds, las semillas, in the ground. You sow seeds, and the pronunciation of sow is like S-O, exactly the same. So you sow, and then you reap is cosechar, when the cosecha, when you take in the crops from the fields. That's the amount of food that you collect from what you grow. So what you put into something is directly proportional to what you get out, which also makes a lot of sense. If you work really hard on something, you'll probably get a very positive reward back. So you get out of things what you put in, is basically what that proverb means. And I believe
Yeah,
that.
de lo que se cosecha lo que se siembra. But it also can be in a figurative way. For example, if you're all the time complaining about something or arguing with somebody, having a bad relationship with somebody, you'll get it back also. So you'll have somebody protesting, somebody complaining to you.
That's called karma. That's bad karma. If you're
Yeah, it's something like karma. Yeah,
yeah, it
this
is.
is the
It is.
cause
Yeah,
effect kind of thing. So
exactly.
it is in the real terms, like Craig was mentioning, but it's also figuratively. So whatever you do, your actions, whatever you do, is going to come back to you. If you work hard, well, you'll get some rewards from that, and if you don't, you won't get a prize for sure. If you complain, if you have bad behavior, somebody's going to behave bad with you. Karma, but
The
it's
karma.
true for me.
Hammer says, I
Okay.
believe each person needs their time and only that person knows why. Time is a great healer. To heal is to recover, to make better. So if you have a loss, which I've had in the last few years when if someone from the family dies and it's a very bad with time that you recover from it. I think that's what Emma's saying. In
Mhm,
time you recover from things, negative things that happen in
mhm,
life.
mhm. Okay, so Rafa also says it's karma. So we have now we have this one.
Beauty.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and this is very wise also because it's an observation that you make because you observe that people say, for example, oh, my kid is so nice, is so good looking. Okay, I have a daughter or son that is so he's so studious, he's so and it's because you love them and you see them like very nice, no? and and maybe it's not really not even true, objectively speaking. Other people say, well, she's not so good looking actually. So I think beauty here means much more than just only being good looking, and it means just everything you see is it comes from your way of your perspective in a way. So it's putting the emphasis in your perspective. So you see something nice is because you have it inside that is nice, no?
And it's not
And
only about people, is it? It can also be about things. Someone can
about
say,
things
look at this
also.
beautiful car, and you think it's
Yeah.
really ugly, or look at this beautiful painting and you think it's horrible. So it's very much a personal interpretation of beauty. But do you think beauty with people is subjective or objective? Because
Sometimes it
people
is
recognize actors and actresses and models as
in
being really
general, but
attractive.
I think in general, but sometimes I'm very surprised that people think completely differently about, they don't think it's so good looking for them also. Um, I think there's a component that is subjective. It depends on also if you like that person. Hasn't it happened to you that when you like a person, you see that person better looking? And when you don't like that person, you see that person like uglier?
Yes,
Like, is
that's
it
that's true. That's
that?
very, very true. Also, when I was younger and I was drinking a lot of beer, my friends would say that beauty is in the eye of the beer holder, because the more beer you drink, the more
Yeah,
attractive the other person seems to
it's,
be.
it is also true, which is also true because it's not
Or
objective
wine.
anymore.
Beauty is
It's
in the eye of the wine holder
Yes, the wine holder or the rum or whatever
or
you're
the whiskey
drinking,
holder.
or whiskey, because the more drunk you are, the better you see the other people, because you're
Yeah.
not so worried about details. But apart from that, it's true that it depends on how much you like the person.
Yes, their personality
The
makes
personality
people
makes
more
a lot of
attractive.
sense there.
Yeah, or not so attractive, less attractive also.
Yeah. So it's
Definitely.
beauty is in the eye. I mean, when you see the first times your friend's baby, we say he or she is beautiful, though it's the opposite.
Yeah, are babies sometimes? Do you think babies are beautiful? I don't think. I don't think
In
I've ever
general,
seen a beautiful baby.
well, when they're just born, they're not because they're all
No,
red and no.
they're
But
like
later,
old men or old women.
yeah, but later they can be beautiful. Yeah, depends. But usually their parents, they're going to say that it's a beautiful baby, of course. And you go to the hospital and you say, "Ah, it's so beautiful." Yes, because it's what the parents like. Okay, and the next one, beggars can be. This is for you, okay? No? Yeah.
Yes, that means that if you're not in a situation where you can choose what you want, you should accept what you have. For example, let's speak about my flat here where I live. It's noisy, it's too small. We need really one extra room. There isn't a lot of space. There's lots of things wrong with this flat, but I really appreciate it because I know that I can't afford to live in a more expensive place. So
Hmm.
I'm not a beggar, but also there's some things that I can't choose because that's the money I earn, that's my income, that's my life. So it's being content and being happy with what you have.
Yeah.
Another
That is good. This
does
is
that
very
make
good.
sense?
Yeah, I think it's a very good thought. It's a very good way of seeing this, very practical way of seeing this, because beggars
Or
can be.
imagine, or another example. Sorry to interrupt you. Another example.
Yeah.
Imagine two people are getting married, the bride and the groom, and they're very poor. They don't have a lot of money. They have money for the ceremony. They have money for the food, for the church, but they don't have money for a beautiful dress for the bride. But the bride's sister has a dress, and she gives her the dress for free.
Mhm.
And she accepts it, and she's very happy because beggars can't be choosers. She can't buy her own dress, so she accepts with gratitude her sister's dress, for
But
example.
in Spanish, the only similar proverb I think is a caballo regalado no se le mira el diente. It's like you cannot start complaining about something that was given to you for free.
In English, I think that's
It's
don't
the
look
same.
a
Don't
gift
look at
in the
yeah,
mouth. Yeah.
in the mouth. It's the same. Rafa is asking, beggar is homeless. Yeah, it's mendigo. A beggar is somebody that begs. That to beg is how do you
To ask,
pedir?
to ask for money,
To ask for money.
usually in the street.
Also, he says, my grandmother said, siempre hay un roto para un descosido. I mean, don't mind if you're ugly or beautiful, there will be always someone for you. Well, that's in relation with the previous proverb that we were saying about beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Yeah, that's
They
also
say,
true.
Rafa, they say there's a lid for every jar.
Oh, that's very
Hay
nice.
tapa
That's a
para
very
cada jara.
para cada bote. Hay una tapa para cada bote.
There's a
Yeah,
lid for every jar.
that is a very good expression. I like that. I like that. That's very good. Rogar. Sí, beggar is rogar. That's it. To beg is rogar. So a beggar is un mendigo. So somebody who's begging for money. But it's not. I think these beggars can be choosers. Sometimes the first time I saw that proverb, I thought it was a little bit sad, no? Because you think how, that this is real life. If you don't have money, you cannot choose anything.
Yes, but it's not always used in a negative way. It sounds sad and it can be sad, but very often it's used in a very casual, informal way.
Yeah,
Um,
and what you said, and I would say in a practical way. Let's
yes,
be practical. If you cannot pay more, well, this is quite okay for you. So
yeah,
you can just not go and complain about it and say. And nowadays, for example, with the COVID, we cannot be choosers. Like it's okay to be alive and to have your roof and to have some food. Don't start complaining about more things because it's quite difficult for most people, right?
yeah.
So beggars can be choosers. See if we can. And we have the last one because this class is almost coming to an end. All good things come to an end. So I like this because this is also very wise. In life, you have to think that maybe there's a period of your life when is you're doing great. And the only thing that can happen is that it goes wrong. So it is important to take this into account that nothing lasts forever, the good or the bad. Because I said all bad things.
That's what I was going to say. I
Say
mean,
the bad also.
that's why I don't really like this proverb that much because it says it's quite negative. If things are going well for you and everything's great, it's going to end. So prepare for it. But also, you have to think it's the same with bad things.
It's the same with
Nothing
bad
lasts
things.
forever. So if
Yeah.
you're going through a hard time, if things are difficult, that will change too. It's only a matter of time. Everything comes to an end. So there's constant change, which is a Buddhist philosophy.
Yes, I think that you should think of both things, not only one. I do that in my everyday life. When there's
Yeah.
a bad period in my life, I think doesn't matter, something good will come up. And the opposite, sometimes for me, it's good to be aware that it could change, that you are now, I feel quite okay and I'm grateful for what I have. So because it could be more difficult. That's it. Just to keep some perspective, right?
Yeah.
I would like to review all of them we go over once more, and then
Good idea.
we're done with it. Okay, so I would say I say one, and okay, so it's a bird in hand is worth two in the bush.
Actions speak louder than words.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
That's a really good idea, Monica. Great minds think alike.
No pain, no gain.
And if you have chickens, don't count them before they hatch. And don't sell your milk before you buy the cow.
The same. If you snooze, you lose. So be careful. Pay attention to what you're doing.
A leopard doesn't change its spots. Sus puntos.
I think in Spanish is no, manchas, or there's
Manchas,
another one.
maybe.
Sí, las manchas, and there's another one. I don't remember what. All that glitters is not gold.
An apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Adversity and loss make a man wise.
As you sow, so you shall reap.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Beggars can't be choosers.
And all good things come to an end. So now we have to say goodbye. Thank you very much for watching. Let me see if we have some more comments. Okay, mancha. Yeah, Rafa was saying mancha for spot. Si las manchas no las puede cambiar. Okay, motas also, motas. Motas is another word for spot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just make sure you visit the blog para aprender inglés or blog del inglés, because I'm going to write a post about this, and you can check all the list of proverbs that we're mentioning today, and visit also Mansión Inglés, mansioningles.com and inglespodcast.com with the best podcasts in English about English as a second language. Yeah, where Craig and Reza have a wonderful show. Every how often is it?
Every Sunday. Every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So great for us to, Gemma also, Rafa, thank you very much for participating. And
you stay safe as well, Gemma. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, so thank you very much. And see you next week. You go with Lynn in Mansión Inglés, no?
Yes, okay. Next week, I'm sure we'll be on Facebook, with Lynn and then Monica in 2 weeks, yes?
In 2 weeks. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye also, Rafa.
Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.